सर्वेषां स्वस्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्.
Thank you, Elizabeth, for that wonderful rendition. There is one person who has toiled day in and day out to make this event the most memorable of the KMA Digital Summits ever. To formally welcome you to this summit, I would like to invite Mr. A. Balakrishnan, Chairman of the Digital Summit 2024 and the immediate past president, to deliver the welcome address.
So this is 11th edition of KMA's Digital Summit. We have been introducing this through Digital Summit, the latest trend in technology for create awareness and also demonstrate the use of the technology in business. If you look back, last year we are also talking about AI. This year actually it is a discussion in the boardroom, in every executive committee, in every meeting, everyone is talking about AI. While some people are talking about job losses and all, but it is an essential thing, something to be addressed by everyone. And it will impact not only business, day-to-day life of every individual. And we are seeing enormous development in our state itself. When we discussed this with the startup and even college students and all, example, Cochin University Computer Science Department, Mechanical Engineering Department, and all together, they developed a wonderful thing which is called a rover. And exhibited last year in the International Summit, they got the 21st place. This year, just concluded summit, they elevated their position to 11th world ranking. So they are also exhibiting the same here. That is something to be appreciated. Similarly, in the startup village, if you roam around, we are seeing lot many applications, real use cases they are demonstrating. And there are, while we discussing the AI, the risk management of AI, ethical part of AI, all those things are under discussion now. So today what we are going to do here is demonstrating some use cases and also some case studies presenting. Along with that, how we can actually conclude and manage the risk associated with this. This is something very important for us. And interestingly, before coming to my duty, an interesting statistics I got, for example, NASSCOM Deloitte and NASSCOM BCG study on AI, which is actually talking about index, that is AI maturity index of India. Out of 4, India has already reached 2.47, which is a good achievement. And another thing is the number of workforce required by 2027 estimated to 12 million. That is what the AI-related jobs. And the growth rate, CAGR, they are talking about 25 to 30% CAGR in AI-based business. So we are actually talking about a great story today in this summit. And adoption rate is also interesting. It is actually, if you look into the companies known to all of us, 87% either adopted AI practices or under discussion in various stages. Altogether, 87% is actually a great number. So this is something actually we are showcasing today here. Now coming to my duty to welcoming all of you. And first of all, let me welcome Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, a thought leader and former managing director and CEO of Federal Bank. When we invited him, he was 2 days before he left the charge of Federal Bank. And there will be an elaborated description about him coming on, so I am not spending time on him. Let me also congratulate you, sir. The Federal Bank has reached in the 7th position in the private banking sector, and altogether it is a wonderful achievement. You have converted the bank to a national level from our local bank. Let me also tell you, sir, my first account was with the Federal Bank. My village, that was the only bank. Still, I am keeping that account. Mr. Sushant Kurindil, he is CEO of InfoPark, and he is not only CEO of InfoPark, and he is actually ardent promoter of Kochi development. And in fact, he initiated an ADPAC study for Kochi, especially on traffic management. And InfoPark being a hub of 75,000 employees, very difficult to reach over there. That is, before developing InfoPark, his plan is actually to develop the city for developing the InfoPark. So thank you, sir, for all your initiative, and thank you for the support for the KMA also, and welcoming you to this summit. The next is actually Mr. Dr. Gigi Kurutugulam. This is probably you will be wondering why he is yet to reach. Sorry. Dr. Gigi, when we actually invited him, I heard that there was a topic he discussed in IEEE on AI. And he was talking about right from the registration of the patient till the prescription, how AI is going to impact. So it is a real case study from an eminent doctor from the city. Thank you, sir, coming over here. We know that you are always under time pressure, and thank you for coming over here. Welcome you to this summit. Mr. Anand Kalidas, he is director of Microsoft, and also people like us know him very well because he is also sales director. And he is going to present, and he is elevated to new position, I think number 2 in the country, Microsoft practices. He will be presenting 3 important case studies, one in healthcare, financial services, and retail. That will be true case studies through Microsoft solution and co-piloting. Mr. Anand Kalidas is also an alumni of SCMS, which is, we are all proud that actually he studied in Kochi. We have subsequently, we will in the afternoon, we will have a panel discussion in the BFSI segment. This will be moderated by Vishnu Pillai of KPMG, the partner. And we have Mr. Johnson Joss, CIO of Federal Bank, Mr. Soni, CIO of South Indian Bank, and Mr. Muralidhar Naik, Muthoot FinCorp Digital Head. They are the panelists, and welcoming you all formally for this summit. Thereafter, we have then case studies, the presentation from various solutions, which is actually manufacturing, healthcare, and retail, etc. That is done by Crayons, Magnum, and Juxio. Juxio is an interesting one. Juxio is on Geo platform, which is on identity management. You know something, identity theft is something today, especially in financial services and healthcare. This is one of the top of the mind issue of a information security provider. So they are actually bringing AI-based identity management solutions, which is, they also have a booth over there. Then Dr. Shashi Gopalan of QSAT, he is the initiator of this rover development. So we have around 10 students from QSAT who participated in the European event of rover exhibition, and they got wonderful appreciation. I'm welcoming each one of you for this summit. We also have support from some very good, nice people. That is, they are actually, because of that, this event is happening. They are actually Vion Fox, which is an HRMS solution. Then we have a Soul Knob, another company who is supporting us. Then we have Sendilon, another interesting company. They created robotic solutions for even warehouse management, medical stores, and they are also exhibiting a robot over here. I request each one of you to support them. They are all youngsters, and I am really actually very happy that many youngsters are working on this field, and this is a forum to exhibit their capability over here. And finally, let me also welcome our executive committee members, MC members. I'm not naming all of them, and dear members of KMA, students, and other all delegates to this summit. And I am sure that this will give you a wonderful knowledge base for in the AI space. Thank you very much. And over to President. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Bibu Punuran, President of KMA, to deliver the presidential address. His leadership and vision have been instrumental in shaping this summit. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Bibu Punuran, President, KMA.
Good morning, everyone. I'm audible, I'm supposed. Yeah. Our chief guest of the day, Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, chairman for the Digital Summit, my immediate past president, Mr. A. Balakrishnan, ABK as we belovedly call him, all other dignitaries, managing committee members, executive committee members, all invited guests. Once again, a warm good morning to all of you. And I guess whatever I have wanted to say has already been told by Mr. Balakrishnan. Coming to the Digital Summit, as ABK just pointed out, this is the 11th edition, and every year, it has been improving year on year with new technologies and new people, new blood coming into the space. So there is a lot of things happening, and I believe that is what is going to be the future of the world. My take on the term AI perhaps is a little different, because AI is known as, stalwarts like Mr. Sushant is sitting here, but I shouldn't be saying that, but then I'll tell you, AI is termed as artificial intelligence, but my take is that, is artificial intelligence really artificial? I feel it is augmented intelligence of the human mind, or enhanced intelligence, because without a human, I don't think we could have ever had something called artificial intelligence. So it's all put together. It could perhaps be retermed as EI, or enhanced intelligence. That's what I feel. And we're coming to AI. I don't think I have to speak more on AI, because it has touched all our lives. Digital has touched all our lives. The small instrument that we all carry today, I think we don't even need a wallet these days, because everything is on that. We can sit at home, conduct our meetings, we can sit at home, work from home, lots of things. There is this quote by our ex-president, Dr. ABJ Kalam, which says, "Dream, dream, dream. Dreams transform into thoughts, and thoughts into action." And I believe That is what how digital has transformed the world. In that context, I do not know, I'm sure that the students sitting here or the youngsters or the millennials sitting here have not really experienced or read through this comic strip called Mandrake. But then people of my age or maybe slightly younger to me or slightly older to me have actually gone through those comic strips of Mandrake and Phantom, in the newspapers. And the person who invented it is, or rather who scripted it was Mr. Lee Falk. Anyone here who's read that? I don't know, because, yeah, I think Shyam sir himself says that he's read it, yeah. The thing is that I was an ardent fan of this particular comic strip, and look at it about, say, 30 or 40 years back when I was in school and all that. There is this Mandrake's home called Xanadu, and to enter Xanadu, there is a big gate there, and then there is this man called Hojo who is supposed to be his chef, who is also supposed to be the chief of Intel, who is in disguise, but then he sits about a kilometer or so away from the Xanadu's gate, and he controls the whole thing. For anyone who wants to meet Mandrake has to come in through the gate, which is automated, which opens, and then there are certain walls which come down, and then he can see everything on a screen. We wouldn't call it a TV screen. But I was just thinking, and finally the visitor can visit Mandrake. I was thinking about the vision this man had, who was born in the early 1900s, I believe. This, at that time, was unimaginable for anyone. But today, all our homes have got these cameras all around. All our offices have got. We can see anyone coming into our office. We have got these, fingerprint entry, all that. So there are visionaries like this, and these kind of visionaries have shaped the world. In that sense, let me tell you, we are fortunate to have Mr. Shyam Srinivasan today as another visionary who has changed the landscape of Kerala in the banking sector and done Kerala proud. Thank you so much, sir, for accepting our invitation and coming over. Because in the span of 14 years that he has been the head of Federal Bank, he has changed Federal Bank from what it was. It was a good bank, of course, in those days too. But today, Federal Bank is the 8th largest bank in the country, in the private sector, and the 10th largest bank in the country in terms of all banks put together. That's not a mean achievement. So, I'm sure that he will be introduced in detail later, but thank you once again, sir, for having accepted our invitation and come here. Because Federal Bank's change again has taken place because of the vision of leaders like him and introduction of AI or digital, which is the summit today. Coming to our speakers of the day, we have Mr. Sushant Kurindal. Again, I would say that he has been a successful entrepreneur. He has come back to Kerala. He has proved himself to be a successful entrepreneur abroad, started companies, then come back to Kerala to change the landscape of Kerala in the IT sector. Thank you so much for coming along. And we have a host of speakers, but Dr. Jiji Kuritalam, he's, as we all know, an eminent neurologist who's again introduced AI into his practices, and he will be speaking. And Mr. Anand Kalidos, in fact, my good friend Pramod was so, Mr. Anand is here, yeah. Hi. He was so proud when he said, he called me one day and said that, look, my boy is coming to speak at KMA, so your professors are here. He is an alumni of SCMS. They will all be speaking in their subjects of detail. And I would also like to say that this entire scene, I would say, just like I spoke about Lee Falk, I would also say that, there is another visionary or another man who can put things together very well. In the film field, we have this person called Mr. Balachandra Menon, who has brought so many hits to Kerala, and the story, screenplay, dialogue, direction, everything is done by him. And we have so many movies that have come up, which are memorable always. I feel that the Balachandra Menon, or the Bala of KMA, is our own Balakrishnan, A. Balakrishnan. Story, screenplay, dialogue, direction, everything for this program has been done by A. Balakrishnan or ABK. Thank you so much, sir, for putting everything up together. Because none of us, including myself as president, none of us have actually toiled anything much. We've just given him support. He's the one who's put this up together. He's been speaking about everything. But actually it is him, and all credit goes to him. And of course the secretariat, everyone who has helped of the MC, I would like to thank everyone for putting this up together. And what more to say? I think this is what the Digital Summit is all about, and the Digital Summit is going to roll out in the next few minutes. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for having come here and accepted our invitation, for having registered in numbers, and all the sponsors and all those people who have put it, the students of QSAT, and all of you who have, the wizards, I would say, who have put up their stalls out here. And please take time to come and see, visit all their stalls, because those are things that are out of imagination, things that we could only dream about a few years back. Many things like that are there in all these stalls. So please do visit them. Once again, a warm welcome to all of you, and I wish that we have a great day together, and I'm sure that we'll have a great day together. Thank you.
Thank you once again for your presidential address. Now, as is traditional, we now move on to the ceremonial lighting of the lamp, symbolizing the light of knowledge and wisdom that we aim to foster through this summit. I invite our esteemed dignitaries to come forward for the lamp lighting ceremony. To formally introduce our chief guest, Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, former Managing Director, Federal Bank.
Good morning, everybody. President of KMA, Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, other dignitaries, and dear friends. I stand before you to introduce Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, who has already been introduced. I think it would be a duplication. But Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, who has been adjudged as the Business Standard Banker of the Year 2020, who was among the 50 best crisis managers in 2021, who has been among India's most trusted leaders. See, a leader to get trusted and a leader to get adjudged as among the top 50 trusted leaders is an incredible achievement. And NDTV recently called him Rahul Dravid of Federal Bank. So no more introduction, I think, would be required, because he has already been told that Federal Bank is now the 10th largest bank in India. When he took over Federal Bank, it had an annual profit of around 500 crores. Now it is more than 1,000 crores every quarter. That is the size of growth Federal Bank has achieved. And the total business has surpassed rupees 4 trillion. Just imagine putting the zeros and you will understand where we are. That is Mr. Shyam Srinivasan. A BTech from REC, that time it was REC Trichy, and an alumnus of the 23rd batch of IM Calcutta. He worked in Wipro and many multinational banks in India. He worked in the Middle East. He worked in Southeast Asia, in retail lending, retail, cards, wealth management, and even in SME banking. He was in the Global Executive Forum, which comprises the top 100 executives of Standard Chartered, before he took over the mantle of Federal Bank. And during his term, as ABK said, the bank gained substantial share in the market and minds and has evolved as a prominent bank driven by technology, with verticalized business, deeper distribution channels, and with strong governance, because a bank needs strong governance structures in place, as you all know, in risk, in audit, and he has put the compliances in place. As he said in his thank you note to the customers of Federal Bank, admiration is earned through consistency, integrity, and commitment, unquote, which he demonstrated through example. Thankfully, as he said to CNBC, he is not going to hang up his boots. That is what CNBC, I told you, has reported. And we can expect him to be occupying many, many senior positions in very many verticals. It need not only be in the financial or the banking sector. And KMA sincerely thank him for accepting the invitation. And on behalf of everybody, I wish him all success in all his future endeavors. Thank you very much. And over to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senior Vice President, Mr. K. Harikumar. May I request President Bibu Punuran to come on stage, please. Now we'll be honoring Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, former Managing Director, Federal Bank Limited. I also request Mr. Dr. Anil Joseph to join. Srinivasan to declare the summit open, and may I request Mr. Dilip Narayanan, Honorary Treasurer, to join him for a conversation.
Good morning, everybody, and a big thank you for all the nice words and the honor. honor, privilege, and certainly humble. So thank you very much. When I was asked to be here, I was yet in office. So the invitation, I think, went as Managing Director of Federal Bank. It's kind of difficult to hear the thing saying former MD. It hasn't yet sunk in. It's only 4 or 5 days. In fact, yesterday, or no, day before, I was in the SCMS campus. There also, when I first heard former MD, it was a little jarring. But I'm getting used to it now. So thank you. This is, I think this whole idea of digital and AI and the next phase of life everybody is talking about is now quite commonplace, right? I don't think any longer. How many of you saw the Times of India today? Times of India? A few hands have gone up. Curiously, only 2 ladies have put up the hand. Right? So men don't read Times of India. But anyway, go and see page 3 of Times of India today. It's talking of AI and CGI. The moment something enters page 3 of Times of India, you know it's a boring topic. Or it is a scandalous topic. It is no longer. So AI is now featuring in Times of India, page 3. Some artist or actor or somebody is talking about AI. So the point here is it's become now part of our daily script. It is no longer something alien to anybody. I think Mr. Balkrishnan, was it? Or one of them spoke about AI, Habibu, spoke about his version of AI and how it is augmented. You could use many things added. Narendra Modi says America, India, so many things happen. But my point to everybody is it's an evolution, it's a continuum. I don't believe it is suddenly dropped from heaven and this morning AI has become important. It's an evolution of technology. I remember my early days in the late 80s, early 90s in my early job in Citibank. We used to talk about neural networks and artificial intelligence as a massive thing in fraud recognition. This is many years back. Cut to modern day, it's still a very, in fact in the last 3-4 years it's gained a lot of conversation. I think the fundamental difference that has happened is in the last 30 years, you have that much more data. So I think the science of information and the availability of data at scale is what is taking this whole thing to center of stage. If we see these as discrete events, it seems like something new has happened. But if we see this as a large continuum, I would argue 10, 15 years later, there will be that much more data. And therefore that much more intelligence, that much more pattern recognition, that much more science behind it. My theory of all this is, and I've said this on a few platforms, the future of digital is human. I'm not saying the future of human is digital, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying the future of digital is human. And what do I mean by that is, human is giving more information for it to become a better human. And that is what all this technology, I think one of you mentioned it earlier also. I think Anand, he'll be angry when I say that as a hardcore technology guy. But I think the whole idea, we should not get sort of ensnared by this whole thing about, or intimidated by technology, particularly to the younger crowd. Befriend technology to the level that it becomes our aid and not we become slaves of it. And to that extent, I think a conference like this must be quite a provocative one for young minds to not just be blind followers, but challenge the constructs. And I would think that's where the essence of development comes in, when you challenge the construct and argue how better, how different, why not this way, why some other way. So let me just take this opportunity to say thank you, and again inaugurate the conference. Have a wonderful one. Thank you very much. Poor Mr. Dilip, yesterday evening he was suddenly said, go and speak to Shyam. So he must be wondering what to ask me now.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
It's such an honor to have you with us today. You and Federal Bank have been long-standing supporters of KMA, and we sincerely thank for all your guidance and contributions. If I'm not mistaken, it was in September, maybe in 2010, 14 years ago, in another September, you took charge at Federal Bank. And over these past 14 years, you have transformed the institution and redefined leadership in the Indian banking sector. Congratulations on your incredible journey.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I'll start with a personal note. I know you are a cricketer at heart. And Bibu was talking about where the Harikumar was talking about Rahul Dravid. And it was touching to see in the social media that your colleagues at the headquarters gave you a guard of honor, where you walked under raised cricket bats, much like how cricket legend Sachin, when he is during his retirement, has celebrated. That must have been a deeply emotional moment for you. How did it feel to be recognized in such a special way? Can you reflect on the bonds you have formed with your team over these years?
Thank you. I am terribly lucky, sir. I mean, I have been blessed with teams that have been incredibly supportive. So I've said it in every platform, I'll say it again. All my so-called successes, I have walked on the shoulder. They've carried me on their shoulders. I have not done much. It's the team that has done. Probably we created the environment for people to be successful, and I've been super blessed. Yes, what happened on Friday evening, I'm still getting over it. It was just something else. The whole office gathered and sent me off, and I was first thinking when they saw the bat, they were going to beat me up with it. I didn't realize that it was such a pleasure, and yeah, I've said that. See, the one thing, if at all, my senior colleague is there, Johnson is there, Satyana there. The one thing that I've often said is, the more leaders try to construct organizations around families, sustainability is deep, right? And that's why even I said future of digital is human. I am an ultimate believer in technology, but I'm a bigger believer in human being, right? And I have said this every now and then, and I think at the bank we've tried to give a sense of we're all part of the same family.
Great.
And luckily I had the chance to do it for a long period of time. So normally when leaders say it for 1 or 2 years and go away, it looks like a nice headline. But if you're lucky enough to do a job for long, then this belief in that line increases. So the grace of God, I've had the chance to do this for a long period of time. So I think the family sense was not just a headline, but a practice. When I left, they gave me that kind of feeling. And yes, I still have not overcome that. And to be honest, that's my life. And that is my life, and I hope it won't go away from me. That's why when I hear former, just sort of jars. But yeah, we have to accept life.
So wonderful to hear that. In fact, no, the bonds you have created with your team is a testament to the impact you have made, both personally and professionally. So speaking of impact, your tenure at Federal Bank has been nothing short of transformational. Under your leadership, Federal Bank has seen some truly impressive growth. Branches have doubled, net profit has grown 8-fold, total business has crossed 4 trillion, and the bank is now ranked as the 10th largest by market capitalization. I think we all should give him a big round of applause and perhaps a standing ovation to such a impeccable performance.
Thank you. Thank you.
So what strategies enable this remarkable growth and expansion? Could you also please touch some of the challenges you faced while scaling the bank beyond its traditional stronghold in Kerala?
I think a little more credit than it's due I'm getting, but I will accept it because I'm now a retired man. So it's good to get some oxygen. But I genuinely think we are overemphasizing that. But what I think has helped the bank, and you mentioned Rahul Dravid, and I'm not saying this, I'm a big fan of him. The characteristic of Rahul Dravid is what I believe in, is sustained, credible, long-term rather than shosha. If you take our bank, the one thing we are quite proud of, and our auditors are here, they've done our audit twice, so I can say with some confidence, they never, hopefully never found anything wrong. Otherwise, they won't attend a program like this, right? That to Mr. Venugopal coming in is like such an honor. I keep telling him, his presence here, he deserves all the applause, right? He is of another league. He's 82 and he inspires me every day. But the point I was going to say is, if an organization chooses a path of sustained, consistent, not yo-yo, of course there will be periods. If you take long slices of time, there will be some period where you have to dip down. just like playing a cricket match, right? There will be a period of play where you have to just head down. Rahul Dravid had 44 balls. He didn't score a run. Tokku, India versus Australia and Australia. He just stood the ground. When he hit the single run on the 43rd ball, the whole stadium erupted. But he had to do that because to keep the head down and play that ball because it was a very treacherous situation. So I think long journeys are around, when to hatch it down and when to attack. If you take a 14-year period, I think we've had the benefit of doing those. In fact, I remember in 2013, we degrew our deposits for 1 quarter because I decided that the growth, just for the sake of showing a number, buying growth didn't make sense. So we actually degrew that quarter. Of course, there were a lot of people criticizing. I still remember somebody called me and said, quit the bank, you're useless. They may be right, but thankfully my board supported me, so we stayed. But the point I was going to say is, in long journeys, which I believe should be the leadership responsibility of everybody, if you're lucky, stay the course, don't get too swayed by the fad of the day. Just do what is on strategy, which you think is sustainable over a period of time. Within that, some fringe issues will keep coming up. So I think if there's one thing we can look at Federal Bank over a long period of time is our CAGR is 15%. No other bank has had 15% CAGR over an elongated period of time. That's why you see this rate of growth has been pretty reasonable. But it's not like every year we grew. There were years we grew 20, there were years we grew 8 and 10. But we kept dialing in, dialing out, depending on how the environment was. And the beauty about history and looking back is it looks as though you were very clever and you achieved something. I'm not claiming such wisdom. It's just that we stuck to the basics and we didn't do some exotic stuff. But we invested massively in our technology and our people. Right? When I joined, our average age of the bank was 46, 47. Today the average age, every year we are 1 year younger. Today the average age is 34. I'm sure next year it will be 33. So the average age of the bank becomes younger, means the energy levels are higher, the adoption of technology is better, the general presentation is more youthful. So I think those are things that have probably worked for us.
So since you talked about technology, and under our president Vibhu and ABK, we felt that digital summits like this, the conferences we do, it should not only restrict to discussions on technology. More, we believed that the focus should be on the managerial impact, helping professional managers and leaders make informed decisions using technology. So it's only fitting that you are here today to inaugurate this summit. You have effectively leveraged technology to drive the massive digital transformation of Federal Bank. So could you share with us your vision that guided this transformation? What were some of the key digital innovations implemented by the bank? And how did they contribute to its growth and improved customer satisfaction? Before moving in, I have a supplementary question also. So I heard in many interviews and many speeches, you articulate a key philosophy: digital at the fore, human at the core. And we touched up also that topic. While technology undoubtedly improves operational efficiency, some people worry that it might reduce the personal touch that it's so integral to banking relationships. You have an ad also, that reached the... In your experience, how can banks maintain strong customer relationships in an increasingly digital world without losing that essential human connection?
No, I agree. You did mention our sort of mantra has been digital at the fore, human at the core. And we're stressing on both, right? And I'm sure in Johnson's session later in the day, he will talk about the many developments that have happened. I'll give you the most recent one, which you may or may not be aware. In one of the speeches, I think Mr. Balakrishnan mentioned that today, or Bibu, that you can do everything on the phone, right? We have moved one step further. I'm saying don't bring a device. Because we can only walk with ourselves. We don't even need a device, right? We are the first to launch what we call Smile Pay last week. You walk in, show your face, just like when we pass through the airport, Digi Yatra, we've launched the Digi Yatra of banking called Smile Pay. So your face is your payment device, right, up to a particular value, 3,000 or 5,000. In select outlets, you just go, buy, show your face, blink, it accepts it, it confirms whether it's you, and delete. So I think the development of technology has to be, again, that's why I said the future of digital is human. It has to come to a point where it has to make life easy for us. Technology should not intimidate or make as though I need a manual for using it, right? I need my 94-year-old father to be able to use it at ease. So our whole theory is how can technology make it even simpler for anybody? And it's not easy work, but that's what we have to work towards. So I think over the years when we launched FedBook, which was our first so-called innovation, maybe 10 odd years back, where many people we found were coming to the branch just for filling their passbook. So we created at that time, that was sort of the early stage of the smartphone, where you could get your passbook on your phone. You didn't have to, and you could write on it. So it gave the facility. Then we started the era of when selfies became popular. We started the selfie-based account opening. So over the years, many things have happened, I'm sure our teams will talk about. But the underlying mantra has been digital at the fore, human at the core. Let technology not intimidate, let technology be your friend. Try to make sure that it is actually customer usable and not just, or employee usable, because it's not like, even employees should be able to use technology to make it a lot more convenient to operate. But I do want to say this is not the end game, this is the beginning, because if you wind 5 years out, all this will look like child's play. Right? Something more important will happen, something even more, like I keep saying, kids may be born with a chip on their lip, we don't know. Or when they're born, the first thing, earlier in our life when children were born, you'd put a mai on the face, so that nobody will put nazar. Now we may put a chip on the face, so that you can track the child everything. So this is a era where all that is going to happen, so, and you can't run away. So I think the more you think about human beings' life becoming better, using technology, I think is a more value add. And if that philosophy organizations imbibe and practice it almost like a mantra, then our line, Rishta aapse, sirf app se nahi. Rishta is with you, not with your app. Right? That's the idea of any organization, and I think no, I can't say we, I hope my team in the bank will follow it up and ensure that that's what they believe in. But I think we've imbibed it at a level that it doesn't become just a headline, but it becomes a practice.
So it's so profound to have such thought when you are leading a digital transformation. You, incidentally, you talked about page 3 of Times of India today and said it could be scandalous. There is a growing conversation globally, especially that is started by that Nobel laureate,
Yuval Noah Harari. Jobs will go away.
So about the unchecked use of AI, particularly issues like data privacy, algorithmic biases, and the broader societal impacts of AI-driven decision making. So in the fintech space, where decisions can directly impact people's financial well-being, what do you see the key ethical challenges that AI presents? How can banks ensure that AI-driven technologies are used responsibly, balancing innovation with accountability and fairness?
No, I think this is a valid question. I don't think there's a sort of a definitive answer. But one thing you've noticed in India, maybe most large economies, the regulators are getting super watchful. And in India, even the fintech, regulators, we as Federal Bank used very, very closely work with fintechs. But we found sometimes to our discomfort that the regulations don't allow, regulators only recognize the regulated entity, period. They're saying you as Federal Bank or Bank A or B, we have given the license to you. We will monitor everything you do. If you tie up with a fintech or a digitally enabled company, we are not bothered who you tie up. You are responsible for delivering that safety, security, control, customer privacy, everything. So I think the regulators are becoming terribly hard on banks or institutions that try to get over-innovative and cross lines. I therefore think in India, with all this in place, the boundary conditions are getting very clear, and with the Data Protection Privacy Act coming up, I don't believe technology will be able to run amok in the formal system. Of course, there will always be the fringe players who will try to break in, but that's more an awareness issue. So I would think awareness, regulatory controls, and the strong monitoring by banks or institutions should prevent some of these issues that are being flagged off as risks. Any good any good tool has its consequences also, right? It's never a perfect, all fine. You know, Dr. Gigi is there, he will tell you more. In fact, my mother is in the hospital, in their hospital only, and I've seen for the last 15 days what all is going on. Technology has its pluses. They have got very sexy equipment which is giving some numbers, but finally the nurse will come and say, Alan, don't worry, it's okay. Right? So you have to figure out how much to worry about. Because I look at that, all the readings are going all over the place. That girl comes, I just and say, fine sir, go. So, I think therefore there's a limitation to how much you should, and that's where the human mind, I think one of you said, right, it is hard to replace the practical wisdom of the human mind. We have to find a way to enable that mind to get sharper, better online, but I don't think it should become a slave of technology, is my view.
So that brings to my one critical question. This all boils down to the leadership, the integrity of the leadership, no? Especially when you have such power at your hand, whether it is in terms of technology or in terms of financial power or market share, the decisions made at the board level can have a huge impact. You talked about the fringe elements. There could be elements in the corporates as well. So how do you see what should be the way forward or ensuring the leadership, that part of that? Because that's a critical aspect.
I think you're right. Increasingly governance is becoming the make or break. Two things. One, I think the regulators have made sure that even the management or the owners can't run away with things. So I think the governance standards are getting tighter and people are being called out. But I will just say one thing which I've been saying to everybody in every platform. I tell myself or every employee in the bank, whatever you do, ask yourself the question, can you tell mom? If you can tell mom, if you pass the can I tell mom test, do it. Wonderful. Nobody on earth would want to go and tell mom, I killed, I murdered, I chored. Right? Everybody want to say only the good things, right? And mom will feel proud. So my personal philosophy has always been, pass the can I tell mom test, you will pass everything.
Oh, wonderful.
Right? That's my view.
I think can I tell mom test is the profound takeaway from this session. So finally, the last, we are running short of time. Kerala, and Sushant is here, Kerala has always been known for its strong education system and skilled talent pool. And recently we have seen a surge in the state startup ecosystem, particularly in the IT and tech. So given your deep connections with the state administration and the way the state thinks, and your role in driving innovation at Federal Bank, how do you see Kerala's potential to become a leader in AI and tech development? What advice would you give to the young entrepreneurs and the aspiring tech leaders assembled here who are looking to make a mark in this space?
I am an unabashed fan of the technology here. Johnson will talk about later. Now we are a bank of reasonably national stature. On any given day, I'm sure our technology team gets 40, 50 vendors, partners, software developers from anywhere in the world for convincing us that we should partner them. We have a preponderance of partners from here. Our whole chatbot development, our whole AI-based development is from a partner here, right? I think the teams here are good, and of course there is chemistry also works better. I do believe Kerala should obsess about service and not try to get into anything else. Healthcare, software services. The only thing is actually the surround system for, okay, here's my view. I am not big on Kerala, non-Kerala, Tamil Nadu. I don't give a damn, honestly. Any geography is fine. My view is every state should become attractive for somebody else to come and work here. If Kerala has the capability, which I think it has, you want a guy from Chennai or Mumbai or Bangalore to come and live and enjoy living here, give him the apparatus to live well, you will see this flourish like crazy. I think the environment is good from I don't think we should get too much into manufacturing. His point, the ecosystem. We should healthcare, software services, tourism. These are massive opportunities. Scale it like crazy. Give them entertainment, give them lifestyle, because medical here is fantastic. So give them all that I think it'll just blossom. To the youngsters, let every idea blossom. Don't kill it. And there are enough reasons. And the world is a market. It's not Kerala is your market. World is a market. We have to see the world as one large opportunity. Why should we stuck? I keep saying, right? 683108 is the pin code. 101 is our pin code. But we should be as prominent in 40001 or 400050 or 8. I don't care. Pin codes don't matter. And we have to make sure that the world or the global stage
Geography
is
has become history.
absolutely. Bang, you said it.
So on that positive note, we'll stop.
Thank you, sir.
So it has been a privilege to have you with us today, and you're in very, very profound, simple insights. You know, we have a lot of takeaways. All of us are benefited. On behalf of everyone present here and the Managing Committee of Kerala Management Association, we want to sincerely thank you for your unwavering support over the years. As we look to the future, we hope to continue to having your support and involvement in our efforts in shaping the next generation of leaders.
Thank you, sir.
Wishing you all the very best, sir.
Thank you very much. And if there's anything I can do, always available. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, for your valuable insights. And thank you, Mr. Dilip Narayanan, for that engaging conversation. Now it's time to felicitate our chief guest, Mr. Shyam Srinivasan. For that, may I invite Mr. Sushant Kurindil, CEO Infopark and our managing committee member.
Respected Shyam Srinivasan sir, Venugopal sir, Bibu Punur and ABK, and Harikumar sir, and then other colleagues of the KMA MC, KMA members, and ladies and gentlemen. This is my second time participating in the prestigious KMA Digital Summit. You know, so last year we had a wonderful event, and then I'm sure that this year we will have an even better event. So we talked about Gen AI and then how Gen AI can be used in business transformation and automation last year. So this year, I think the focus will be on expanding boundaries and then unleashing new opportunities. And I'm sure that you will leave today a lot wiser about what technology can do for you. So I'm definitely not going to talk about AI at this point. So you will hear from technology leaders, industry veterans on how technology, especially AI, can transform their businesses and their industries. And this year, there is a very specific emphasis on BFSI. Probably it's because of ABK, So there is that special element here. So we will hear a lot about, how technology can be used in BFSI also. We have had a wonderful insight from Shyam sir on how Federal Bank used technology. And then anyway, so we normally hear a lot about technology, but in our busy work and then personal lives, we don't necessarily have the time to think about how that technology can be used by us. So events like this will help us mull on those kind of aspects, where we have, we learn from others' experiences. And then, so we will have a lot of aha moment, hopefully today. The moment you say that somebody has done something like this, you said, yes, how can I do this? How can we do this in our businesses? So I must congratulate all of you for taking your time here and then coming here. And then let this be a day of learning, networking, and idea exchanges. And then, so we talked about how technology can change, or it can bring change. And then, obviously, there is one person here who has already done that. We heard him. But, let me tell you, Shyam Srinivasan sir does not need an introduction from me. So I met him for the first time today, but I heard a lot about him already. And he's somebody who brought immense changes to Federal Bank and the banking industry, as well as the state of Kerala. I was going through your thank you notes, sir, that you wrote to the customers, where you say that Federal Bank stands tall, not just as a financial entity, but as a brand that is deeply respected. And InfoPark is a very loyal Federal Bank customer. And as a customer, I can say, thank you for making our priorities as your duty. Okay, the transformation of the bank in the past 14 years that you were at the helm has been phenomenal. And, I would go back to the keynote that Madam Shalini Warrior did, last year on this dais, where she talked about in detail how the bank looks at technology. How technology is used to solve issues, how technology is used to predict issues, and then above all, how technology is used to make the customer's experiences better. So rather than using technology for technology's sake, the core of the thinking has been the customer experience. And then when you understand the customer experience, and then there is a very good awareness of what technology is out there, and you marry them both, you get the kind of experiences that we are having today. And then that is something that we benchmark against the best in the industry today. Sir, you have shown us how a Kerala entity from the country, and then it can go across the country and even international. And then that is an inspiration for all of us. So obviously, I will narrate a personal thing, because when I first moved into Bangalore about some 24 years back, if I want to absolutely speak Malayalam, I would just walk into a Federal Bank branch. Okay, but today, I don't have that luxury, because, you have a very diverse workforce there, and then, so it's just like going to any professional bank. So you have raised the standard, you have made it a very, an entity which is purely identified as a Kerala entity to something which is a national entity, that's an international entity, and that's a wonderful lesson for all of us. And it's not just the financial elements, there's a human touch in everything that you did. The skilling programs, the enormous help to the communities during the pandemic as well as the floods. Your CSR programs have touched lives. The experiences that we all get, the community, and then as customers we get, that say it a lot louder, digital at the fore, and then human at the core. So, sir, thank you for being with us today, and thank you for everything.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have the KMA scholarship distribution. KMA, as a part of its CSR initiative, has initiated this prestigious scholarship program aimed at empowering the next generation of leaders and innovators. This scholarship is designed to support talented students who demonstrate exceptional academic performance, leadership potential, and commitment to making a positive impact in their communities. By providing financial assistance and mentorship opportunities, the KMA scholarship seeks to nurture future professionals across diverse fields, helping them achieve their educational and career aspirations, while contributing to the growth and development of the society. This year, we have identified 28 students in various educational sectors ranging from MBBS, Masters in Business Administration, Engineering, Paramedical, MCA, and so on. And as a symbolic representation, we have selected 7 of the students who are receiving scholarship to receive it from our chief guest, Mr. Shyam Srinivasan. May I request Mr. Shyam Srinivasan, Mr. Bibu Punnuran, President KMA, and Secretary Dr. Anil Joseph to escort our chief guest onto the dais. request our Honorary Secretary, Dr. Anil Joseph.
Good morning, all. So it's a wonderful session of the beginning of the Digital Summit has happened. So the core points is already presented. Digital in the fore and human in the core. And tell your mom. Can you tell your mom story? That is the takeaway from here. Thank you, Shyam sir, for that wonderful session. And then it's always AI is making so much of disruption happening. So we have seen that there are a lot of friends which is going to happen. So we have a wonderful gathering here. Thank you all for coming together. And we have few stalls out there where they will be presenting what is happening. And Cochin University has got the rover store. Please do visit that. And we will have a networking tea. And I strongly believe that AI is going to disrupt, but then human will remain there. And all the very best for the continuing session. And look forward for hearing AI in medicine and the trends in AI from Gigi Kurtikulam and Anand. And let us be back for the panel discussion. And the other active participation is going to happen. And by the end of the day, let us carry home something which is valuable and let us put it into use. And that's what all intelligence is all about. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Anil Joseph. Now we break for tea. We'll be back here sharp at the hall at 11:15 a.m. The tea is arranged just behind the hall. Please do visit the stall and experience the next day.
Fraud, the elusive, evasive, and ever-evolving parasite that affects your business. The extent of damage from fraud attacks is expensive and expansive. Fraud attacks could also result from failed compliance. Penalties from regulatory bodies due to compliance failure compound the issue, resulting in long-lasting damage to both business and reputation. You need a trusted partner to counter fraud in this uncertain world. Meet Juxio, a game changer in the fight against fraud. Equipped with AI-powered identity and access management tools, Juxio is the zip code of ultimate security. Our products have helped us attain over 750 million onboardings and detect over 2 million frauds. And Juxio has verified 52% of Indians' KYC. Juxio goes beyond full-stack compliance and risk management with 360-degree IAM tools. Purge, prevent, and protect from fraud. Our advanced CX guarantees a seamless user experience. With customizable flows, Juxio simplifies integration. Continuous learning allows rapid response within 15 minutes as our platform tracks and identifies the latest fraud vectors, thus ensuring perpetual compliance monitoring, risk protection, and brand reputation safeguarding. Our mission is to build an inclusive, trustworthy digital ecosystem with responsible AI. Our vision is to eliminate fraud and secure every identity, every time, with 100% accuracy. With Juxio, you have a reliable and trusted partner to safeguard your business against fraud.